by a show of hands, who has rolled with Mike before? Okay? So all of you know that Mike has a unique ability to suck his own dick. Literally and figuratively, right? Here we go, right? So, I have to recognize that, and I have to know that, and I have to appreciate it. I have to change how I'm going to pass, right? I am not going to try to pass Mike standing up. Like, it's not going to happen. There's no way that I'm going to be able to keep up with his speed with my side, right? So I'm going to pass from the knees. Now, at the same time, too, my goal is to keep Mike's bottom leg connected to the ground and stop it from moving. But if I just try, knee shielding and coming across here, he's always going to get his leg back, and he's always going to get his hips moving side to side. Even to the point where if I come all the way and I think I'm going to pass here, he literally just comes right up, boom, up, and a lot of you probably didn't hear. And you're like, oh fuck, Mike, please. Right? Today, that makes me fucking. Right? What's happening when he's doing that is because I'm so focused on getting my chest on his chest. And all the pressure is there while I'm allowing his hips to swivel and move around. Okay? So my style of passing for this is going to put all the pressure on his hips because I really don't care what he's doing with his torso. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and staple this leg here. Now rather than moving this way, I'm going to move towards his leg, right? I'm going to put all the pressure on his hip so that I can start to create a wedge under that bottom leg and pressure here. Now Mike, he can try to lift his hips up as much as he can, as much as he wants, and I can hang out here all day, okay? From here, I'm still holding, and I like to say, little guy, big movements in jiu-jitsu. Big guy, little movements in jiu-jitsu. I'm not doing some big back step where I give him tons of space to get his leg back. I'm just right here, back stepping in place, turning his hips away from me to come here. Okay? So I'm coming out. I want this connected to the floor. Here. Now I'm not just going to move this way. I'm moving directly in line of his hips, coming here. I create this wedge underneath. Hold. Nice little back step. Okay. Do the steps children need to fucking see it? Pinch. Wedge. You're just sitting back. Small little back step. It's not a big movement. Here. Come in. If I do a big motion where I come here, I'm fucked. Every single time. It's going to move too fast. It's a game of inches. I keep every inch I can, okay? Even his 3. All right. Good? Let's try that. 1, 2, 3.
All right, hey, just a lot of questions, right? Make sure you guys are switching on your own so little guys can do the big guy stuff. And this is a pass I use a lot. And so just to show it from a little guy perspective real quick, one of the tools that I use to help clear that hook, right, we get to our good position, I want to drop my knee as close to his hip pit as possible, right? If I leave a gap between my knee and his, like right here, he'll have room to recover. So it's got to be a nice tight bite in here, right? As I go to pass, if my armpit, the same exact gap happens from his hip to his armpit, if I reach too high or if I go to cross face him, that's where we lose this battle, right? So we call it incremental passing. I want to pass incrementally and not get too hasty by jumping up to his head, right? So everyone did a good job of getting to here. Once I'm here, I can either grab over his leg like this, if I get lucky, or I grab it here. But either way, I'm going to pivot underneath him here, okay? So I'm not going to take my knee and drop my hip way out here yet. I'm actually going to move myself like back underneath here. To clear this leg, I will never win the battle of stepping over his leg, okay? So especially if he's bigger than me. He'll always trace me, and I'll always lose that. I might get tippy and get swept, right? What I do is I actually walk heel toe, almost out to like a dog bar, until I'm almost like Achilles to Achilles, okay? And then from here, if I get rushy, and I step over, he retains all of his tension, right? Again, I still can't just step off his leg. So I'm going to drop my leg totally straight. My knee connects, and I pummel over top of it, right? The worst thing you can do is get 80% of the way through a guard pass and then celebrate, and then get right back in the guard, right? 99% of my guard recoveries happen because of that, right? We're celebrating a guard pass that we didn't complete yet. Does that make sense? So make sure little guys are training big guy stuff, big guys are training little guy stuff. Make sense? All right, so Zach passes my guard. So the thing Zach talked about is controlling one or the other, right? If we try to control everything, we do it poorly, okay? So he knows he wants to control my hips. So my rule as a bottom player is you can have my hips or you can have my torso or my chest. You can't have both, okay? So right away I'm getting range on him. I know how he wants to pass. I really can't do much besides get myself nice and stiff to him, right? I'm going to let him complete the pass, but his passing leading hip, which will be his left hip, my right hand's going to post on, okay? I'm not trying to stop him by any means from finishing this pass. I'm just trying to maintain a stiff arm on the inside, okay? He steps over my leg. He completes his guard pass. What I want to have happen is my butt between his legs, okay? I have to be sitting in between his legs. I accomplish that by turning away from him with an underhook. Okay? If I turn away, my arm's over here, it's a back exposure, no good. All I gotta do is hit my arm here. There's no back take now. He can't get to my back. Right? So, stiff arm allows me to get my hip inside, and now I have access to what we call a hollow hook. Right? From crossface. He completes his pass right here. I'm stepping over and I'm hooking his leading leg. There's no flexibility for me because I'm turning away from him, right? It's this motion here. That's it. If I stay flat on my back, now it's flexibility, right? Now I've got to be able to turn my knee. I start getting into some weird kind of knee injury issues from here, right? So, stiff arm, sit between his lap. Now I can hook it. If he's sitting heavy back on his heels, I might have to just wait a minute. All right, so I'm going to frame on him, let him try to complete his guard pass. There it is. All right? If I let this arm relax, he gets to a cross face. Well, now I can't reach. It's impossible. Go right now. How about you? All right, here. I can't reach. All right? Let me get back to a stiff arm. Now I can reach, no problem. Okay? Once I have this hook in, I'm going to lift a little bit. It's not a heavy lift. It's more of like I want to make Zach sprawl. The butterfly hook comes in. All right? Once I have the butterfly, I can press everything back into me. So I'm not going to try to lift him yet. I'm going to pull my heels in and just let him kind of be right here. All right? From here, I don't do any big lifting unless they're my size. If they're my size, I can butterfly lift. But with someone like Zach, all I want to do is frustrate him a little bit. Okay? So I'm clamping here. This is a really tight bite. I'm hooking my toes up on my butterfly, and I'm pulling my butterfly hook butterfly hook toe to my hollow hook heel like this. So hollow hook, butterfly hook, connection. Okay? Keep the stiff arm. If he's trying to move to recover or keep my guard pass, I'm just waiting for the hips to move a little bit. The leg comes back across. Right?
Oh, finally.
So, without Zach, a stiff arm, my butt and his groin. That part's easy for me.
Just
that thing up. Hollow hook comes in, right? There's no flexibility issue here. Lift a little bit, get a butterfly. We're clamping like this. I'm framing on him so he can't get to my chest. As he's trying to get to my chest, this leg lifts a little bit. This leg goes limp and pulls across his chest for butterfly guard. Okay? So, pass this. Why do I have framing on him? I know what's happening, right? This is a losing battle for me. It's okay. Now we're here. Oh, there's the hollow. All right, we're still framing. There's the butterfly. We're being stubborn here. All right, he's aggressively moving towards me. Easy enough, right? It's really important I don't get super active with that hollow leg. Let that hollow leg relax and just kind of snake across your chest. Does that make sense? Let's do some weird shit. Try it. Ready? All right, so guys, honestly, like hollow hook is like my plan A guard recovery. That's what I do every single time. I've used it in the room a lot. It doesn't always work, but it's what I always go to. So much so that I've been playing a ton of overhook guard, and I will let you pass my guard so I can have the overhook and then do hollow hook and recover with the overhook, right? Because like it's so effective for me. But it is nuanced, right? It's different for everybody, so make sure you guys keep playing with it and go on. The goal of this class is to kind of show 4 different sequences: a guard pass, my guard recovery, Zach's way of dealing with that, and then my way of dealing with his thing. So it's going to be kind of fast-paced, right? But if you guys have questions, come find me. You know, if they're quick questions, you can ask us during open mat. If you want to spend an hour with us, you can do that too. So, but make sure you guys have this down, because it's a great guard recovery to add to your kind of arsenal for sure. So, but Zach's going to go on from there.
So we're just going to start from being already passed, right? I'm here. He's gotten the hollow hook, right? Now, I say, okay, Mr. Currier, I've rolled with you 1,000 times. I know exactly what you're going to do here. I'm not going to just give pressure this way because I know he's going to extend me like we just did, right? So what I'm going to do is I still want to keep my hips low to the ground, and I'm just going to knee cut like a case of tatami as I lift this elbow up to here, okay? Now the most important thing once I get to this position is I want to put my head on this side, because that's where the clock is, and I see there's 3 minutes left in the round, and I'm going to ride the clock, and now I've won. Okay, the match is over. Thank you very much for coming, okay? All right, but in all actuality, I'm coming here, right? I need his elbow to be like close to my chest, right? Once I let this go, he's going to start getting it in. Yeah, exactly, right? I don't want that to happen. So before I even do my knee cut, right, I'm pulling this up, getting it away, as far away from his body as I can, okay? Once I'm here, I'm just, again, dropping my hip, not a big movement, just a subtle hip switch to come through. I have this nice wedge between the mat and his back, and I'm lifting this up. From here, I'm gonna start to push down and get my knee over to here, okay? I can start to attack my Americana. Here, if that doesn't work, right, he shoots through, I just switch to here. Now, it's very important that once I start to go for this Kimura, right, I now switch, okay? Come here, bring him nice and tight in, and I'm just gonna take a nice step over his head. I pinch, start to come up, attack here, and if this doesn't work, I'm just going to swivel over, keep everything nice, tight, to here. The goal is that my foot is underneath his shoulder, okay? If I land here, and I'm here, I have all this space that he can just get his elbow and his back to the mat and slide through exactly. But when I land, almost like I'm figure fouring his shoulder, right? I've now created a wedge where I'm isolating this, okay? And I can, if he starts to grip his hands, I'm tucking, and I isolate like a shoulder lock to come here, okay? So, I know that was a lot. We're gonna do it fast, like you said. He's hooked. Lifting this up, subtle movement, holding. I start to push down. I attack my Americana. Probably not going to work. Grab here. This is what I really want. I shift, step over, up and over, and if that doesn't work, here. Making a figure 4 with my ankle underneath his shoulder to start to turn out to get my arm around. Okay? Anybody need to see it again? Fuck.
I don't have time for this. You're fast.
You better be in the front. See how long it took him to set that up? It's not gonna work. Up. Face up. Nice and low. Shift. Start to attack. My bullshit doesn't work. Boom. This is what I actually want. My Kimura. Shift. I'm doing this because now I can step. I get close with my ankle to his head, so that when I turn, figure 4, bring it here. Very important note too, that I forgot. when I'm here, I'm not just like wrenching up and pulling back. I'm making him stab himself so that he follows me when I fall back. And then I can isolate the shoulder and open up, okay? Are you good back there? Thank you. 1, 2, 3.
All right, so one of the things I use a lot is with my size is body tension, right? So body tension meaning I'm flexing my muscles in a way that keeps me compressed, and that's how I keep alive for most of my training, both offensively and defensively. So I rarely will use my strength in an explosive manner. It's always me clenching and just like staying rigid and staying safe and staying tight. I can do this isometric clench for a long time. I can't do explosive movements very well at all. So when I'm looking at what's happening to me, we get to this hierarchy of submissions. This is a bad spot for me to be. I don't feel threatened really by Americanas. The reality is, like, go for Americana. If I can get my meat of my thumb like this to the mat, he can crank on that all he wants, and there's no tension. Keep going, yeah, keep going, keep going, go. Right? It's fine. Like, it's just the shape of your arm. Okay, so if I can straighten my arm and get my kind of like, it's almost like a J shape between your index finger and your thumb to the mat like this, then it's really impossible for him to Americana me. It will get tight, but don't be a bitch. All right, don't tap. So we go Americana again. So right away when you get the Americana grip, I'm gonna go here. Right? And so I'm putting my shoulder next to my ear and I'm straightening my arm. And then Zach can really try to bend my arm and get it back into an Americana shape. And like, I can talk, it's totally fine. He can try for real to like bend my arm and break it, right? Like, there's just nothing there, okay? So I can maintain this a lot, so much so that if I really can't escape a position, I will never say I bait anything, but I will let them chase on this Americana just to allow my body to move because they'll get so frustrated, right? They get to a point where they feel like they're so close to getting a submission that they want to chase it to the end, even though it's a bad submission to go for. Okay, so I don't want to move to the Kimura grip. The Americana is a very safe position for me to be in. The Kimura gets really, really bad for me. Okay, and so if he's able to force my head away from my hand, I start turning the thumb down position. Now we're into this Kimura situation, right? This is really bad for me. I don't believe a topside Kimura works. I think it's a fake submission. And so the reality is, if I can keep my shoulders to the mat, he can never put my hand behind my back. Okay, so I just get really heavy here, and it's really hard to lift me off the ground. I'm 140 pounds, and it's really hard to move me. Right? He has to. One of two things. He has to either put my thumb in my own armpit to reduce the elevation he needs to get the break here, right? Or he has to stand me up on my edge. So my first defense is just here, right? I'm going to go long body, chin up. I'm going to be really, really heavy on my shoulders. And I want us to test this to the point of failure, okay? Meaning the top player should give it everything he has, and I should either get Kimura'd or I should be able to stop it. Either way is good data, okay? So he goes, Kimura, go.
That's part I hate.
Yep. Right? My tension is more than he's able to, right? It's pretty easy. So if he's able to get me on my edge and step over, I got to get myself protected right away, right? I don't believe in going two hands together to defend this, okay? I want to have two hands operating independently. When I cross my ankles, I figure 4, or I rip my hands together, I reduce my limbs in half, right? I have one arm now. They work as one unit. It's good sometimes, but it's bad other times, right? So I can accomplish the same thing by getting my thumb into my sternum, do I get more of it? Right? And just maintaining this tension here, because as he goes to elevate my palm over my body, I can just lift my hips, right? So go to your squat. You gotta do it. Go to your squat, right? Right? So you can't Kimura me here. He has to get my hand behind my back. So all I care about is keeping my thumb high. The second my thumb drops to my belly button, everything changes. This is a bad angle for me. My thumb is high, almost my thumb to my chin.
Let's turn so that sexy cameraman can see. Not the camera, the sexy cameraman.
Yeah, here we're in a good spot. Now as he goes to lift, my hips go up with it. Yeah, I'm not gonna get Kimura now. He might go somewhere else, but he has a really hard time holding my legs down and my head down and pulling my arm out. He has to accomplish 3 things. right? So usually what happens is they just kind of jerk it, aggressively, and they break that grip because we just kind of go to this grip. When I go to this grip, my hands are already in line to go behind my back. So when the grip breaks, I'm at point of failure already. So thumb to your chin, nice and tight here. Again, let's go pretty aggressive on the break here. Keep committed to a one-hand defense. Okay? So he goes Kimura, he's trying to break that. I come up here, I'm good, right? It's hard to pin my head and my hips. My hips elevate.
I can do little guy shit too.
The last bit of defense, right? We have a strong side and a weak side of our Kimura. Okay, head mount's probably our most deadly area. If I get my head escape from his legs and I go this way, right? I'm going to his strong side. He can still Kimura me, right? Top side Kimura is fake news, but it's still fake news, or it's still potentially threatening. But if I get my head this way, take him to the weak side of the Kimura, there's no threat here, right? So he can chase a back take from here, but there's no more Kimura threat, right? And he has a very long way to go before there's an armbar threat, right? So it's pretty easy for me to slip this. So, first defense. We go heavy shoulder, and we plank our body, right? Like my turtle head. My head comes up, nice and heavy here. He's not lifting me, okay? He steps over the head. Right away, as he goes over my head, go ahead. I'm reaching for my chin. All right? Now we play from here. So he starts lifting. I can start elevating my hips to defend this. Third defense. Head comes out to the weak side, not the strong side. Easy enough, right?
I really hope this doesn't end up on McDojo Life.
Right?
I look pretty stupid.
Right. Should we try that? Guys, feel free at this point, right? We have like 10 minutes left. Rep out any part of this you guys want, right? If you're really awesome at this guard pass, maybe skip the guard pass, right? If you hate the hollow hook, maybe skip the hollow hook. Focus on one of the 4 segments that you guys want to really develop. Spend 10 minutes doing that with your partner. Cool? Let's do it. Ready?
All right, so just real quick, especially like for all the bigger people, it doesn't really matter what body type, right? One of the biggest problems that I had that I asked Mike to help me with is I said, hey, I have a really, really hard time with bigger people because I'm always the biggest person in the gym. So when I go against guys my size, I was getting smashed, right? This can work for any body type, right? When I'm on the bottom and someone is bigger than me, I'm playing his system, right? So don't think that because of your body type, you have to play to a certain style. Can I do everything that he can do? No. But if I can do some of it against someone my size, right, it's going to benefit me and it's going to keep me safe. So just keep that in mind. If you're someone who's smaller, you can do all of this stuff to bigger people. I promise. This motherfucker does it to me all the time. All right? It's very demoralizing. Okay?
Cool. Let's get a picture, guys. Real quick. We're already invading on their time. So let's get real quick in front of here. Get a picture. Thank you guys so much.